our country, or those who control the money in the country, believe in them, but they can't believe in their own.
They must stop that
thinking,
that primitive thinking. I've been an advisor for the pension fund, and that's why we had a transformational investment policy statement, which is an investment strategy. We said there were 3 goals: grow the fund, develop Botswana, develop industry. They did. That's why there are some people then who show me a document that was signed by a lot of people in this country. They said they were cream of the country. They said there is no Botswana who can own and establish an asset management. We said, go and tell it to the mountains and to the rocks and the trees.
Yeah.
And then we implemented it before we exited.
Yeah, we've recently obviously had a new political dispensation in terms of 58 years of BDP coming to an end, and the coming to power of Mr. Our learned friend, advocate, Duma Gideon Boko and his team coming in. Do you sense any changes on the entrepreneurship side, on the environment?
I can tell you what has happened from the economic side of things. Having traveled to even in the United Arab Emirates, sovereign funds and investors are now interested to come back to Botswana. There must be something that has happened. And the credit must go to the change that have happened.
This is Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. We enthuse, we energize, we inspire, and we empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes in BW and beyond. Dumelang and welcome to another, and this one is a special episode of Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. Dear viewer, I'm very privileged and honored to join with you again. I've brought one of the stalwarts in terms of business, one of the, I would say that he's a bit of an icon. You'll find out why in a moment, in terms of business, in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of property. It's someone with whom I've interacted before. It's not his first time on the podcast, and his name is Olebeng Ngwakwena, and he'll reintroduce himself to you in a moment. But let me ask you to do a couple of things before we start. One, kindly strike that subscribe button. We need it for purpose of stabilizing these algorithms, and to be able to invite entrepreneurs of this quality, we really need for the podcast to do well, and can only do well with your participation. It constantly confuses me and confounds me why 60% of you who view this program just won't hit or have failed to hit that subscribe button. Do not be one of them. In addition to that, can I also ask us to give us a like, and feel free to comment if there's something that interests you in this podcast. Our objective, as we say, is to enthuse, energize, and to inspire you as an entrepreneur, and to expand the entrepreneurship landscape and ecosystem here in Botswana, and to strengthen it as well. It's going to be a very, very interesting conversation. So get yourself a cup of coffee or cup of tea. You're going to enjoy this conversation. Thank you so much for coming to the studio, Mr. Olebeng Ngwakwena.
I'm humbled by every time you call, I come.
Thank you very much, my brother.
Yeah.
It's not your first time that you've been with us. So I think a good starting point would be for you to reintroduce yourself, as it were, to the viewer, and then maybe take us through the journey, your journey in terms of where have you been in the last 4 years since I last interacted with you. I know that you've expanded your footprint, you've grown your business exponentially, and I dare say you may have even 10x'd your business since you were last year. Go ahead, my brother.
I'm humble. I'm just a simple boy from the desert. I'm a desert boy.
Yeah.
I've just turned 60, and it's like now I belong to the universe rather than say I come from Hukunzi or another place. I'm here.
I turned 60 in December. When did you turn 60?
Well, I turned on 5th of May.
Yeah. So we were getting into our 7th decade.
So thank you for having me. Time flies. The last time I saw you were signing a book. We're posing with a book in Airport Junction now. I see Mogobe has grown also. And I must congratulate you for you inspire me.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I've said it so many times that whenever I come here, I get inspiration.
Thank you
I
very
may be getting another deal after this. So my journey has been quite, and I must thank God for all the things that He has done for me and my family and all the people who are around me. He's the Almighty God, the revealer of all truth and the creator of all things that walks around. And I wouldn't thank God enough even if I was to live the 1,000 years of what He has done. So coming from a humble beginning and getting the education, the leadership and the impact that I had with my mother, Belshani, and I've been so many places. Like I said, now I belong to the world. I don't think I own any particular place because the last time I was here, I'm anchored in South Africa, and Namibia, and Ethiopia, which is Ethiopia blew my mind. When I arrived in Addis Ababa at Bole International. Anybody who will tell me that Ethiopia it's a poor place, it is no longer a place that I can actually be in any way support anybody who say Ethiopia is the second populous country in Africa. They have about 130 million. Just short of, they come second to Nigeria. Ethiopia is not a developed country. They are developed. And then after that, I learned...
It's not a developing country.
It's not a developing country if you look at infrastructure. I mean, if you compare Bole International to OR Tambo, I know. It's not even a match. And then lastly, I end up myself in Dubai, in United Emirates. Oh, God. Those people, they put their people first. That is something that I think we need to learn something out of it. Anybody, so everything is about citizens first, not country first.
Yes,
citizens first.
Citizens first.
And I think that model is the one that we are bringing to this country, and I'm happy to be back into the studio. And having a conversation with you. Yeah,
and of course, last time the thrust of your business was logistics. What has happened to the logistics business in terms of transportation, in terms of distribution? And I do know that you've also very strong in hospitality. But let's start with logistics first to understand.
Logistics grew to a point where it's now supporting the hospitality business. Without logistics, you can't go anywhere. So it is still there. It is actually made us make it possible for us to actually expand our catering. So now I am feeding people more than anything. I'm interested in feeding people, and we train our own chefs, and we have every year we have our own Belservest National Amateur Competition where we identify talent and we grow it. And the top 4, they get to be employed in Belservest. Last year, on the 10th of July, 2024, it was in Litigation. There was a winner who got 20,000 Pula.
Wow.
And she also got a scholarship to study a diploma in culinary arts in the Gaborone Culinary School, as we speak now. This year, is all going to my hometown.
Yeah.
We are raiding Khansi on the 10th of July. That's a Thursday, 10th of July. In Khansi, there will be another Belservest National competition, and we've got 20 participants who will be competing, and 100% they come from Khansi area. So we'll identify another one. So that's where I've gone, and I'm enjoying it.
Can you just, in a simple way, describe and explain your business model, just so the viewer understands what is involved, how many people are involved, how many entities are involved, what we have on the hospitality side, how it then interrelates with the logistics side.
We have a business model that is based on integration. It's an integrated business model that has got core business. One is camp management, which is basically, we're managing contractors' camps in the mines. We do everything. It's like running a hotel for them. The second one is catering and hospitality, which then we feed the people who are staying in the hotel. So we do everything. The multi-services one is where we do housekeeping, we clean. I'm a housekeeper myself, and it's not by accident that I end up doing this business, because my mother was a housekeeper. Okay, was a cooking for other people.
Yes.
She used to do. I learned years ago how to do fat cakes and sell them so that I can pay for my education. And that was instilled for me from young age. So whenever we employ people and say they are, for us, we don't call them cooks. We call them assistant chefs. We have transformed the whole thing of saying, are these drivers? No, they are logistic experts. It's a whole change. Are you talking about, we don't have maids. We're talking about housekeepers, caregivers. And that's the thing. We don't have canteens, which we find in the mine. We have transformed them into cafes, which is Belservest cafes. So we rebrand them when we get there.
Yes.
And the language, which it's a primitive language, I want to say, and I say it. Why would we still be calling people cooks in 2025? Drivers. We have a clear modern slavery statement. We abhor that because ourselves, if you read the history, we are descendants of slaves. Why would we still be using the slave thing? I don't know whether it was in 1800 or whatever that Abraham Lincoln made that profound declaration.
1863.
Yeah. Said no, there shall not be slave. But up to these days, we're using the language.
Yes.
Can we change that? And that's what we are doing, and it's been enlightening in a way.
Yeah.
And then you start seeing the best in each and every one of us.
Yes.
And I think it helped me to be able to say, we are not the best. You cannot call yourself the best.
Yeah.
There are more people there if you care to discover, and you will grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's the philosophy that my mother instilled in me.
I like the fact that you describe it as an integrated business.
Yeah.
Because to an untrained person or to someone from outside, they would see you as having pivoted. First, you were running, Knight Frank, which is a real estate company, and then you started the Belshani, focus on real estate side, and then Belshani sort of mushroomed into other aspects. So, am I right in saying it's integration because it's about growth? You're constantly building new arms of your business.
Absolutely, because Knight Frank was almost 8 years ago, so I've even forgotten what Knight Frank looks like.
Yeah.
And then from there, I did Belshani, named after my mother. It was really a focus on the core business that I'm a transactional advisor, so I just went to do property transactions. And then after that, then I said, look, I need to be into multi-services. So we established Belservest, which is a multi-services company doing all those things. So I house all the property management in there so that Belservest Belshani becomes lean, and I'm able to deal with my transactional advisor. These things. So as I was going through this, there's just too much law, so much litigation, so much arbitration. And there's one case where clients were, a particular major client was owing money. And you know what? I just booked myself into UNISA and said, I want to study law.
You were tired of...
6 years after, that took, the case took almost 7 years. And that is how long I graduated before
So let me see if I understand you. You had this piece of litigation with a particular entity.
who was owing me money.
It was paying you, who was owing you money.
Yes.
Then you went to UNISA to start studying law, which went on for 6 years.
Yes.
And after you graduated, that case was still going on.
That case, yes, came on because throughout property, there's just too much litigation. There's people who owe you money, or you are acting on behalf of another client and so forth. Debt collection. It's a serious thing. So I was integrated to people like you and other people.
Yes.
Apart from just agreements. But when it hit me, when then the client was owing money, I think there's a time that I just said, that's the thing that inspired me to go and study law. I booked myself in there. When I graduated, it was still there, and I won it at the end.
Yes.
Now,
congratulations.
You see, certain things go, you don't know what is going to happen. But that inspired me to study law. Now I only do transition advisory in property at Ramalepa Tunis, and that's why.
So you are at Victor Malepa,
Victor Ramalepa. He's a brilliant entrepreneur lawyer, and I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he's built a boutique and an efficient firm that now I belong there as a consulting attorney.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know him well. He's actually my mentee on certain issues.
Okay.
And we get along
Victor,
nicely.
wherever you are brilliant.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's also my lawyer.
Yeah.
He recently won a tough case for me.
Okay.
So he's a good man.
Yeah.
Going back to you, how has being an attorney or becoming an attorney helped your entrepreneurship?
It made me appreciate one thing. I think the whole concept of justice is just it intrigues me. The whole thing of fairness, that each and every person deserves to be treated fairly. It is one of those fundamental things or inspiring things it didn't come clear to me throughout my life. The second one is it has helped me to be able to assist other people, especially the poorest of the poorest of the poor. And the downtrodden who can afford litigation. And that has developed the other side of me, which is more saying, let me create shared value with people rather than giving them throughout my religious education, and I never knew what it meant to say, this saying that you must not give people fish. You must
teach them how to fish.
To fish.
Yeah, instead of giving them the fish,
yes,
teach them how to fish. Yeah.
And that now is what we do is a philosophy in our community, a social investment. And that's why you see me all over the place. You think I'm a different person because of that. But that's what law allows me to do that. But then also, in any deal that I go through, I want to put myself in the other person's shoes. I never used to do that.
Yeah.
But it has helped me to say, try and listen more. Estate agency taught me to speak a lot.
Yeah.
Law says, listen and try and understand the situation, the facts.
More than you
go
speak.
And find the appropriate law.
Yeah.
Now that has helped me even in negotiating deals, how I look at things.
Okay.
So that is the positive side of what the law has done to me.
Yeah. To succeed, every entrepreneur needs to have good negotiation skills. Can you share with the viewer how you approach a negotiation, and perhaps even mention how you believe some people are getting it wrong in terms of approaching negotiation?
In negotiation, the best thing is to be a good listener. You must listen. You must not talk a lot, you must listen. And to try and understand the other person's point of view. Once you've understood that, you're able to come up with what they call win-win situation. Because then you understand where they're coming from. Sometimes it can give you an urge in negotiations because you've been listening. The other person has been talking. And every time you say something, it becomes, he just goes astray. And in that, then he opens up himself. Once you open up yourself, as a trial lawyer, it will be like you're given a penalty and there's nobody there. And you can just score a penalty even with your eyes closed.
Yeah.
And that's what people give away by not listening. So that is the big skill. The rest are the rest things that you know. But then the other thing is faith. You need to believe in yourself. Faith doesn't make things easy. It just makes them possible. Literally. Faith. You are the only person who know yourself. You know your own battles. You know what makes you not sleep during the night. You know your challenge about a better person. You are the only person that can actually craft something that will be good for you. But then behind it, there's Almighty.
Yes.
You have to pray. And I say, God, please hear our prayers. Every day, that's something that you must say.
Yeah, I've been listening to you. I hear you saying that it's very, very important that you listen, number one. Number two, have faith. In terms of that, can you give an illustration in your career, in your business, where that mattered, where it made a difference?
In most of my deals was that if I did not believe that I can do something, I myself, I can do something, half of the time I'll have failed because it looks very impossible from the start. But if you start engaging yourself, and recently, I spent time with lions.
Yeah, I saw
Faith
that.
takes fear out of you.
I saw that. Is it on Facebook
Fear.
or WhatsApp post? One of the two.
Yeah. Fear is the thing that destroys all of us. Fear. Now,
how did that happen?
And become humble.
Anyway, I don't want to digress.
No, but I'm just saying basically, if I did not, faith is the one that actually made me say I can walk behind them and I can have a conversation with these
lions.
And I throughout my life, I think I've been consumed by fear more than anything. I never knew I'll become a lawyer. I mean, I was a science guy. Never thought. When you guys were doing law, we were coming from Edinburgh, you were doing this, we said, no, man. But it's envying. But would I become a lawyer? Now, these are the things, this is where faith has actually gone and make sure that I believe in not only myself, but then I also believe in other people's strength, that I don't know everything. There's something that, as a deal maker, I can make a transaction, or I can act with somebody on matters that I have no even scanty any knowledge on it. But it's the way I approach it, or then I'm able to know that there's somebody somewhere who knows something better than me, that I'm able to tap on their knowledge. So we don't know a lot of things.
That's true.
But is the faith that humbles you, makes you able to do that. And one of the things for me is that, which has a profound impact on me, is that the universe doesn't care who survives or who lives. It doesn't really care. It really cares for those people who are able to hang on. I've been hanging on. I hang on a lot of things. But then hanging on, you must have faith that things will get better.
And will work
Without
out.
faith, and it goes with hope. Without hope, we are nothing. So I've been hanging on to hear a call from Mogobe. And yesterday I had a call. And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I want to go back to the lions a little bit. How did it all start? Who invited who? How did you end up working with lions?
I had this thing, I've always been scared of lions. And for me, because I'm a top-level subtraction meditator, which
Top-level subtraction meditator. Yeah.
I learned meditation a couple of years ago when I have challenges, and it's a way of life. It's more like a prayer. It's a deep personal, scrutiny that you put on yourself, and in there's this thing of fear and anxiety, which consumes a lot of people, including myself. It was that it just came up, and I said, no, I want to deal with it. I want to see lions. And my family said, let's go and have this interaction with lions. And we find ourselves in a place, in a game reserve where there were lions. They were semi-tamed, I must say.
Yeah.
But a lion is a lion.
It can still cause
havoc
any moment.
Don't take chances. And then I had a time to say, they said, take a stick, you walk with it. Now, at the moment, split second, something goes, it's not even adrenaline. It just says, I'm doing it. And I did. And in there, a lot of things were happening. Whether it's adrenaline, whether it was this and all that, they all happen in a split second. But in there, it takes fear out of you. Total fear out of you. And you get enlightened to be able to walk in there. And I've done it.
Did you feel like Daniel, the story of Daniel in the lounge?
Stories fly in you, but you are facing it. A split second. If it was turned around, you're gone.
Yeah.
So it means that I was once here and I'm gone.
Yeah.
So one could have said you were either brave or foolish. What the hell are you doing? But I've done it.
Yeah.
And if I was given a chance, I will do it again.
Yeah.
But in that, it is actually, in a way, people say to me, Olebeng, I want to go and do this again. I said, look, it must come from you. Cannot be saying this. And for somebody to say I've inspired them, I think I am humbled by that, but I don't think it's me. It must be you. Like I said, it's only
must come from within you.
Within you.
Yes.
We were all, I was afraid of heights. I'm on what floor is this?
This is the first floor.
First floor. It hardly going to a plane was that. But how many times we have done it?
Yeah.
And you do not think about any risk in there.
No.
The moment you see hurdles, then you know you've lost focus. Because when you're walking behind a lion, you have to be focused. Any blink, any minute, you're gone.
Yeah.
So you must be ready to be eaten if you walk around. No, you have
to be eaten.
No, you have to be ready.
Yeah.
You almost accepted your faith that anything can happen. It's like going to a plane. Something can happen. But how many times you walk in a plane?
Yeah.
And you don't know what is going on.
You don't even think about it.
You don't even think about it. Swim in water, I'm scared of water. I can put my feet in it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's bring it down to the business of hospitality and to the business of facilities management, which I see in what you do. Correct me if I'm wrong. How do you manage to juggle and run these businesses? What is the key?
Well, it's the team that we have. I don't do anything. I've got a team. Without the team, I'll be gone. So you put up a team. You come up with the operation strategy. You go into it and leave people to have freedom to think. When people are free, they become more innovative.
Yes.
And that innovation is what it is running the multi-services, total multi-services company that we have as Belservest. So they become part of the strategy. They develop the strategy. They live, they believe in it. Not us saying do this. So you find free people there who are able to think, do things. Of course, there will be some control, direction, things like that. But you must watch when we have a chef competition where they are giving a mystery basket. And in the mystery basket, it will be all sorts of ingredients there. Within 5 minutes of split second, he will have made a menu. And he's able to do the starter, the main course, and the dessert in 1.5 hours. And stand to win cash prize and scholarship.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it is that has been able to do that. But you create time.
Yeah.
I've created time to come here.
Indeed.
I'm left with 20 minutes or 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to go somewhere. So it's all about being able to believe that you are able to do something and
Yeah.
believe in it. Once you have said, this is where we're going. After all the things we've done about risk management, this and that, because we start first with the risk. We identify all the risks, all of them. You can't eliminate them. You just
Yeah.
have to manage them. So with all those other things that you know about that, then you let it go. You believe in it.
So paint the picture for me. How many employees? How many chefs? How many people?
Well, currently,
Because it's really these days they call it there's capital management and there's human capital. So people are now thought of as human capital.
yeah, we have about total of 105 people. During before COVID, we had about 450. We have now cut to a point where we have right-sized the company, and in there now we've got specialists who are in those things of camp management, which they've done. Hotel management is the key in camp management. Catering is all chefs, and the facility management is all the estate. I haven't moved away from property. And then contract management is all the legal side of things, and event management. So in these, now we have core people in those areas, and we just drive the process.
Okay.
We win some, we lose some.
Okay.
We want to be able to grow, and we keep growing. And one thing is that we also empower other people. So even if somebody was to win a contract and they need equipment, because in catering we've got thousands of, worth millions in terms of catering, we'll be able to offer a backup to somebody who has one catering.
Okay.
So it's not always about us. It is somebody. And this is where for us, I can tell you we procure in any region about up to 25% in local procurement. And empowerment for us, as like I said, we create shared value with all our suppliers and partners. Yes. And once we have an alignment, then we move together. So sometimes people who have empowered, they end up employing us.
Yes.
After they've won something, they become my bosses. So I've got several bosses.
Wow.
Including yourself. You say, come here, 12 foot low, come here.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you're very active in the Delta. What is your activities there?
Well, it's all camp management and lodging, so that's where we are. And the almighty Okavango Delta is the best place to be. And the people who work in the Delta, they are totally different.
How so?
They are so pleasant. I don't know why, because they are in the wilderness and they have to rely on others. And there's so much human connection in the Delta. So people who work in, and I say it with the greatest respect, who work in the towns are different from those who are in the Delta. And the more you go into the Delta, you get stuck in there and you'll never want to come back.
Yeah.
Because you don't complain about anything, about service. Absolutely no complaint. Yeah, taking yourself. So I guess that's what makes Botswana tick, is that we have franchised these concessions, but Botswana government is just ripping up so much in terms of royalty and rentals without putting any money in there. So the low volume, high value model which the government has is the best.
Okay.
Yes.
It's good that you're saying that, because I've heard people complain that sometimes money is exchanged in foreign capitals and people just come here to spend time in the lodges without any value being created locally. but I sense that you differ from that.
I really differ from that, but I cannot say it doesn't happen because I'm not a word policeman. Some people can do that, but the model that government has done for years is that you get charged, and it's a US dollar base businesses in there, so you pay in US dollar, and government get maybe about 4% of that as they call it resource utilization.
It's like a levy.
And then rental. And that is based on your gross profit. So who's gaining? The more they go there, then we gain as a country. And you can see that tourism has been a second earner. Maybe it's now the first. I don't know what diamonds are doing. They can do whatever they do there. But it's when money drops here and you see the quality of the facilities in there, you will forget that you are in Botswana. I'm telling you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I've been to one in this CKGR.
Yes.
A tent based on just the model of literally tents.
Yes.
But it looks so exquisite.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you could, so that's what I'm saying, it's an area to go to pursue Mogobe. And these questions are there. Sometimes we find that we'll go there and we buy because somebody's there. But it's closed. Nobody wants to sell. Even during COVID, we had few lodges that people, because of the amount of money they made for 2-3 years, I don't think. They lost a lot of
stuff.
They
lost a bit, but not much.
But immediately things turned around, open up. Oh, you see, everybody's forgotten about it.
Yeah.
But in any business, there's a risk to it. So
yeah.
I guess once your model has been able to be adapted to that, you'll be able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we've recently obviously had a new political dispensation in terms of 58 years of BDP coming to an end, and the coming to power of Mr. Our learned friend, Advocate Duma Gideon Boko and his team coming in. Do you sense any changes on the entrepreneurship side, on the environment, on the economic side, or what are your preliminary observations?
Well, I quit politics years ago, so I don't talk politics at all. But I can tell you what has happened from the economic side of things, having traveled to even in the United Arab Emirates. Sovereign funds and investors are now interested to come back to Botswana. There must be something that has happened. And the credit must go to the changes that have happened. There's just so much goodwill to this country and its leadership. And I'm very proud to say I'm an African, I'm a Motswana. Because Botswana has got a chance to rebuild, resuscitate all the ways that you've had. So there's some positive change. If you address investors at an investor conference and you mention the word Botswana now, they said, yes, please, I want to go to Botswana. A couple of years ago, for the last 4 years, I went to Cape Town retail property market. I started saying Botswana. They say, oh, please, Emapil, Vach ears. Please, mention another country. Now you go to the UAE and you say, Botswana says, we would love to go there. We know that country. We have all the economic data. They know more about us
than we know
about ourselves. They've already positioned themselves. So we have to be ready to welcome them. And may God hear our prayers. May God hear our prayers. And something positive has happened. And we must give credit where credit is due, without necessarily being afraid to be told that we are aligning ourselves with anything. There must be something. And credit must go to Botswana, who have made it possible for investors to come back. All of us.
Yes, collectively.
We shouldn't feel somebody did this.
The
rest God will take care of them.
Speaking of opportunities, I happen to know that you're very much involved in retail, given your interest, the Airport Junction Mall. And I see that malls are springing up. We have a lot coming up in Palape, and we've seen Mall of Maung coming up in Maung. So how do you see the opportunities in the retail and in the shopping mall space?
You know, when we started Airport Junctions, you remember it came after others. First it was River Walk, where I was at Night Frank.
Game City.
And then Game City was built at the same time, and then immediately we saw Malapo. We thought the market was saturated. They had really mop up all the demand. And Airport Junction was well conceived because the funding and the ownership structure was quite good. So immediately it was as launched and commissioned. We really sold 50% of it to a pension fund. So we went and pay the loan for the longest time we've just been distributing. Then we had phase 2. Again, the funding structure is quite good and strong demand. So in that, the key thing is that you must make sure that your funding and ownership structure is good, so that you are able to navigate all turbulence, because there's going to be turbulence. So I'm not worried about any other things. Airport Junction is the biggest shopping center in terms of gross lettable area
in the country.
And it's successful in terms of because of the funding. Even if you look at the Game City is small. River Walk, beautiful, because it was not flooded recently. Everybody thought it was flooded.
No.
And I happen to have been a consultant for years, and I'm still at Transaction Advisor for the Headley.
You are the transaction advisor.
For the Headley Sea.
Yes.
So I've seen them unlock and all sorts of things in there. And they will soon be swimming in so much income because of the natural deed of sublease is coming to an end. And
they have a chance to renegotiate.
Not even renegotiate, it just reverts back to them with no compensation. We did that at the transaction along those lines.
What is the impact of that?
The impact of it is that the original or the Headley Sea, who got the state lease, it now gets to inherit the land, service land and the development without paying compensation. That must be good.
Yeah. It has to be good.
But normally nowadays you don't get those kind of deals. It's that you have to,
and of course,
you still have to pay the
and those who developed have already got their money.
They got their money, yes. They get their money. They just have to sort out the building and hand it over as a clean site. So in all other ones, I mean, I've seen Mall of Africa. I thought for me, BDC put their money in there. I don't know what is going on.
Mall of Maung, you mean?
Mall of Maung.
Yes.
I see BDC put their money in there, and it's changed the landscape. It's given Maung hope.
It is
I
beautiful.
mean, the civil engineering in that, I think for me is magnificent. So every time when I pass through that, I see it. So we pray that it must have success.
Yeah.
And because they've created, you have to stimulate demand, create demand from nothing.
Yes.
So we have to give it a chance. At some stage, I'm sure that the catchment area should be able to enjoy that.
Yeah.
But Maung, as you know, and I see you are also very much involved in Maung.
Very much so, yeah.
And I'm saying, stay in that market that you are there. I don't think Maung can take another big shopping mall, but there will be a chance to have another big mall.
In the future.
Not even in the near future. So we don't know. I mean, if you look at what has happened in Maung, international airlines now, like Ethiopian Airline.
They come direct?
Direct from Maung.
Since when?
It started, is it a year ago?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Remember they launched 1 year in
I know the direct
flight. Now in Mau you can fly from there, and they have a nice lounge on.
I read somewhere that Mau
No, they're
Airport
there.
is actually one of the
Is
busiest.
is
the busiest in
is
Southern
the
Africa.
busiest in Southern Africa.
Mm.
They mean it. It's because of the flights in the tourist flights in the Delta.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always covered with those small ones, but they make a lot of money.
Yes.
It's part of the package.
Yeah.
So don't go away. Stay, keep your eyes and ears open and stay put in Mau.
Yes, I'm there.
Yeah.
You emphasize the importance of a good structure or an ownership model. Are you able to help me understand what that means?
Well, you have to choose your partners quite well. Those who are able to not only put money, that they can attract off-takers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you can't throw money in. Where are the tenants? Sometimes you find in your structure, you don't just need equity. You need people who can also bring the off-take and sustain them. So when you're in the boardroom, you are aligned because you own. But half of the time you find that they send pension funds, they send representatives to, an asset manager to represent them in a board where they don't own anything. There's a little bit of recklessness because they don't own, and so they can just do things for expediency.
So they need to have their skin in the game, their investment.
They must. The chief executive of Botswana Public Officers Pension Fund, he must sit on that board. He can't just send a representative because they are not aligned. They didn't put their money, so they're looking for cash. So they can do a lot of things that will compromise you, only to get a report in 3 years that things have fallen up.
Yeah.
So for us, there be in it, like in the airport junction, I'm not representing him. I'm representing myself, and therefore I can pull this. I can say, hey, we are not going to go with the deal because it affects me personally. If you have a representative who is well paid asset manager,
who just gets a salary,
salary and a commission, they are bound to do a lot of things, and they find that they are conflicted. So there's nobody who can manage your asset or your money better than yourself. I don't see how. So you must be in there. Don't say I think the way you've controlled your Mogobe empire, you still have people, but you are in control. I
know what they're doing.
But it's a collective, but you are in control. How can you give somebody $1 billion and you go and then you spend time in Bahamas and then say, I'm reasonably informed that the airport junction is doing well. My brother, by the time we wake up, you find that there's cracks all over the place.
Yeah.
So the internal management, it is the best. Internal, even your corporate affairs to a certain extent, you cannot outsource it to somebody else for the longest time.
Yeah.
Sometimes you must go in there.
Yeah.
And be in control.
You have grown, you've expanded. Even they say you've gone into a multi-millionaire entity, if not a billion. But I'm not going to push you on that. But I happen to believe that you did that partly, to a large part, because of faith, your religious faith, and you've grown as a result. So what do you say is the intersection or the interrelationship between growth and faith? And in this regard, I know you've talked about this extensively in your 6 a.m. radio programs. Are you still doing them?
I stopped doing them, but now we've gone into our Facebook page and Instagram, Belservest Cafe. I think that's where my integration are.
Yes. Have you gone back to sharing? But
intersection, intersection between faith and what? Business.
And growth. Yeah.
And growth is that in there, there must be the belief that things are possible. There must be possibilities.
Thinking.
That then you create an environment where you can see opportunities. So that is the thing, because with faith and growth, they make things possible. Not easier, they
But
make
possible.
it possible. And it's that there is a possibility. Can I explore a possibility that I can invest in this matter? And I believe that once I've done A, B, C, D, I should be able to make it possible.
Yeah. You wouldn't be where you are, Mr. Ngwakwena, without setbacks, without challenges, sometimes even some catastrophes here and there. What would you say are the most significant challenges you've had, and how did you tackle them?
Even the day I was born, I think I must have been destined to be able to incur those challenges. So it was part of the formula that I think the Almighty God has done that. I only discovered later that there's challenges. I've lost sisters, I've lost mother, I've lost, I've lost friends, I've lost a lot of stuff. I've lost money.
You lost a mutual friend, Montwa.
My Montshwari, who we pioneer Airport Junction together. When we were just about to actually reap the benefits, he departed. May God keep his soul free.
He's a very good friend of mine.
Yeah, and now the daughter Trotro is my partner, and I had to open up. I showed him everything, and we have developed a smart partnership with her that now she's able to carry the legacy. So I sit on the board of Airport Junctions. She sits on the technical side of things. And we talk about, the age difference between me and her is like huge, but it is the way she was groomed. I think the father, and this is one of the things that we must do, is not to leave our children behind. We must bring them so that we can show them our challenges and how we've done things. We must show them the pathways of businesses, because once we retire, and I use the word retire, they will know how we've done it. So we must bring them to the boardroom.
They must be part of the team.
We must bring them to the site visit. We must show them the thing. And all our children will find that, otherwise they'll be lost and they can blow it.
Yes.
Yeah, and recently when I heard that some of the richest people on earth, they've now given maybe 50 or 90% of their wealth. They're giving back to society.
Charity.
That has had an impact. But they make sure
Mostly
that
they give it to their own foundations.
Yeah, but they have empowered their children, and they've left a lot of legacy for them. But we need to impart the knowledge, because they wouldn't know the password of certain places. Some people have gone to password and things are stuck in safes, and we don't know what to do with the safes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for you, what did you say was the biggest challenge, apart from losing those who are close to you, which we all have to deal with?
I think there was a part that, and I must say, and it still struck me that there was a time that we were harassed in this country. Absolutely, at personal level, harassment, and
by the powers that be.
And people just fabricate a lot of stuff. And I think a lot of people thought I was a terrorist, or I was biggest money launderer, I was this, and that, because we were just doing transactions. And even at Ramalepa, we had the whole machinery which was put in place to tarnish our name on Museveni platform. Now, people believe in it. But people, after it was revealed that this was something else, I don't know whether those people will face us. But,
So it was just a smear campaign?
Absolutely crap, and we used a lot of things. Can you imagine if somebody says you have billions in your account, and he's telling you to your creditors. Do you know what your creditors will say? Please pay us today. So we have an avalanche of creditors coming to us and say, pay money. I said, guys, I don't have money. He said, no, please don't tell us. We heard from the reliable sources, even the top men said, that smear was, I think, was there. But, did
it have a psychological toll?
Anything that you can imagine. And I think that's where the power of faith in yourself and truth that sustain us, that we are here. And we wish them to stay longer to see our success. And I hope, like I said, we pray God, we please God hear our prayers so that this beautiful country of ours should never
fall into
those kind of stuff. But Botswana now know what they've got, a power. And they know exactly what to do. I'm not God. I'm not a politician. I don't know all those things. If they need any help in terms of catering or any other thing, I'm here.
Yes.
And Mogobe has written a book, and I will also be writing my book.
I hope you enjoyed my book.
I enjoyed your book. I read it. There was a week that I read the book and I went through it. There's sometimes you just flick through glance through it. Then I started reading. Now I can tell you even where you talk about your personal stuff in there. I said, this was my past love life. I said, oh my God. And you say it as is
and edited,
and that liberated you. I think the truth saved all of us, and I believe you now, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
And that's what inspired me to say I'll write my book.
Yes.
I started writing it from 2019, and it's nearing completion.
Yes. Okay. One of the biggest challenges facing the country is unemployment. And sometimes I say, when I speak to my mentees, I say to them, unemployment is a choice, just as much as poverty is a choice. And people think that it's harsh or unfair. I wonder, what is your take? What is the cure for unemployment, and what do the youth who watch some of these podcasts do in terms of curing the ill of unemployment?
Well, one of the reasons why I wake up, something that motivates me to wake up, it is a fear of being unemployed myself. So one of the things that I think drive us to create this opportunity is to create employment for others. One of the worst things that I encounter, it is when, or I can't deal with it, is when you have people who are qualified, they're ready and able to work, and they can't find work. It is one of the worst things that you can find. So I feel what these employment figures are horrendous. But when you look at the things,
some say 40, some say 25% for youth unemployment.
It's still. I mean, we are a small country. We should be able to have full employment. I'm not an economist, but if you look what they have there, is that they made sure that people comes first. We cannot continuously have a situation where and this is not xenophobic economic policy, where we don't put our people first. Why are we not giving, people come here, they create things. Why are we not giving them the chance? Give them the chance. If you go to UAE, any shopping center you see in UAE is owned by a citizen. The land there is owned by a citizen. I don't know how they've done it. So those things, you find them first in the citizen. Not to say I found someone in somebody who came with money. And that's why the economic model, the United Arab Emirates, it is the best one to benchmark on.
That's why it's so effective.
Effective. You have full employment. We got how many people? 2 million. And what are you talking about? They said, why are we not seeing diamond shining in your thing?
Yeah. So do you see yourself? Is the problem the mindset of the people, or just the policies of the?
We can't keep saying it's the mindset of Botswana. I refuse to say so, because we have a positive mindset. We are qualified. Please do not tell me after 58 years that there are no Botswana who are 30 years experience. They've got extensive practical experience in any field. They do. Just believe in them. Just give them the chance, and you see what happens. We are Botswana. We are not beggars. No.
Give them the work.
So now this thing of and this is this narrative that has gone in there is that there was a time that people do not think that you could find any Motswana who is educated. There are some people who, even up to date, they believe that there's no Motswana who can create Mogobe Plaza. They still believe in that. They still say it's a legacy thing because of where I was born.
Yeah. Come on.
That is primitive thinking.
Yes.
And it's a poverty mentality thinking. And I make no apology on it. We've got engineers, we've got lawyers, we have everything here. But every time you go into a thing, you find that people start thinking. They always say, now I want somebody who, they will soon be having advert where you say, we want people who were born in Dubai to qualify for anything.
Yeah.
So every time people work around to try and find something that we don't have so that they can bar us. So
even when sometimes...
And it's not even a government policy.
Yeah.
It's not that. There are some rogues somewhere, sitting somewhere, thinking that if Mogobe built Mogobe Plaza, he must have stolen money from somewhere. I'm telling you.
Yes.
No, he must have done something. Why? When even the pension fund, they should be investing in you must list and they must invest in it. Because Sefalana and Chopis, they are owned majority by the pension fund, by Botswana pension fund.
Yes.
So what are you talking about? And then yet you go and see them fly. It says that they are funding this from their pocket, far from the truth. No, it's not. We know that.
Yeah.
So
it's just that our country, or those who control the money in the country, believe in them, but they can't believe in their own.
They must stop that
thinking,
that primitive thinking. I've been an advisor for the pension fund, and that's why we had a transformational investment policy statement, which is an investment strategy. We said there were 3 goals: grow the fund, develop Botswana, develop industry. They did. That's why there are some people then who show me a document that was signed by a lot of people in this country. They said they were cream of the country. They said there is no Motswana who can own and establish an asset management. We said, go and tell it to the mountains and to the rocks and the trees.
Yeah.
And then we implemented it before we exited. That's why now, how many asset managers are there? Where did they come from?
Yeah.
They are there. That's why we had Africa Lighthouse. We had Aleo.
We have Kore Capital.
Kore was there before, but they were given the what do you call it? What is the word? Incubation.
Yeah.
We did the incubation with Novare. We let BPO do it. You can check the records. You can call them.
Wow.
But those people, some of them, they didn't believe in themselves. No, we're working for Investec. You are destroying the thing. Now, you got Bomurula partners. They're working for for BFIM. You have the other people from the other. They will come from Investec.
Yeah.
Now you have Botswana, the playing field, and there's going to be more and more. It's because we believe in Botswana.
And you actually pushed the idea.
We pushed it.
Yeah.
Now it's here. Now everybody is feasting, and they forgotten who's Olebeng.
Yeah.
But
well, they won't forget.
But I wasn't created to be remembered by any other person. My thing was to help others.
Yes.
And if we cannot help them, please do not destroy them or hurt them.
Yes.
And that's the philosophy I have. I think in conclusion...
Before you conclude on this subject...
In conclusion...
Before you conclude...
Okay.
There is a clip that went viral where Mr. Arun, the founder of this insurance company. What's it called? This Alpha Direct, was speaking in front of HE, and he said, enough, I'm paraphrasing, every time we called to these forums, it was a conference on entrepreneurship, and then in the front there we had CEOs of large organizations, basically civil servants, talking about entrepreneurship. So he said, this has to stop. Every time the government wants to engage the market, they bring people who have not even run, if you like, a lemonade stand. They've never been entrepreneurs. They're just glorified civil servants, and they occupy big positions. And they're supposed to tell entrepreneurs who are in the audience about entrepreneurship. And when every time there's a mission to go to Dubai to look for funding or whatever, just a whole bunch of civil servants. Entrepreneurs are left behind. And he was saying this has to stop. I wonder what your take is, because this thing went viral. And the comments on it when I shared it it was explosive, because it resonated with what people are thinking. What are your views, and how can this be dealt with?
Well, I don't know about it. I wouldn't have views on that viral stuff. But this is what we need to do. We need to believe in ourselves. We need to engage one another frankly. And there's an Economic Inclusion Act, if I'm not mistaken. Let's have an inclusive approach. That's what I will say. And it's there. Maybe it's easier said than done. But the foundation
policies are there.
The policies are there. So really for me, I think pointing fingers at each other won't, because each and every one of us plays a role. And there are some brilliant civil servants. And I don't mean it because I want them to give me any tender. They are brilliant. They are doing a sterling job. Is that sometimes people do not know how government works. I think there was a course even in law and other places where it's all about government. We need to understand and find each other. And less arrogance. If somebody was to say to me, what have you learned? What have you gained? I've said I've not gained anything. But now there's a freedom. There's a total respect for other people. It's the humility. It's the humbleness. It's seeing. I pray God to give me the eyes to see the best in others. And the more I do that, you find they do that. And I will urge all those who are watching this to say, can you apply that? And remember, our purpose is to help others. But if you cannot help them, please don't hurt them. And Dalai Lama has said this thing so many times. And that's my thing now. So those who may not, and I don't worry about what other people and what people want to put in what, because we the world doesn't owe us anything, literally. We owe ourselves that honesty and be able to focus and do. And we shouldn't be wearied of doing good things. Because at some stage, in good time, we'll reap. And in a way is that you sort of you train people, you share with people. The way you treat other people is the way you really tell them how they should treat you. And I think if I was to choose anything, I think let's choose kindness in an approach.
That's great advice.
Okay.
We're concluding now. And in conclusion, I normally ask my guests to grab the crystal ball and look into the future. The next 5, 10, 20 years. What do we see for the Belshane Group, and what future do we unfold?
Well, in 20 years, I'll be 80.
Yes.
I see the best. in this country. I see growth, and I see us, and I wish that we must gravitate towards really getting that connection with our Creator, and try to recognize and encourage that human connection. Because during COVID, all of us were at risk. There was nobody who could see death. But it's the way in which I saw a lot of people caring for one another, even greeting each other. The streets were so empty that when you see other person walking in the street, you are bound to say, hello, Ra. And you can see how that person, sometimes people will not greet each other, not because they were just scared. You don't know whether tomorrow I'm going to leave. So I think that's for me
But
is
the
the
Belshani,
message.
what will the Belshani, what will it do? Will it have an academy? Will it have more hotels? Is there a future that you project in terms of...
I think distribution and be able to do motivational speaking and having empowered other people. It is one thing that I really wish that Belshani and Belservest and the group that we've done would have actually done that.
Yeah.
And that's where, if you look at our community social development, is that I think for me is that I want us to take our Belservest and Belshani creation of shared value model to another level. And in that way, we'll grow together and have a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
And it is possible to create wealth and share it.
Okay.
Yes, and the world there's enough opportunity for all of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last question. What are you doing on the mentorship side? I know that often I invite you, you talk to my mentees, you're always generous with information. What are you doing to mentor, whether it's chefs or groups within the organization?
We have this brand here, Ronaya Belservest National National Amateur Chef Competition. That is our academy. That's where we train. You must come to Hansi on the 10th. If you have ever watched Master Chef,
Okay.
you will see 10 times.
Is it
And
televised? Or is it recorded?
What we do sometimes, I think we live stream it, and depending on the connectivity, we are able to do that. We did it in Lutakane and other places. So we will, with God willing, especially
The
connectivity
objective
that
is
area.
to expose young chefs
Yeah, they're
to new
cooking.
techniques.
You see, they are given the mystery basket, and within 1.5 hours, they determine whether they win cash or a diploma, or even employment with us.
Wow.
And that is the thing that I'll take through.
Yeah.
So already the academy is there.
Okay.
Yes.
That sounds exciting.
Yeah, all right. Sir.
Did they warn you that you get to ask me a question?
No, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
But how have you maintained and sustained the Mogobe empire from the last time I saw you? I can tell you a lot of things have changed.
Yes.
Yes.
No, I've decided to open up and recognize that I don't know a lot.
Yes.
And allow experts that come in.
Yes.
You know, there's a guy who's a YT lead, social media lead, and I've managed to bring those youngsters in to cultivate the brand.
Yes.
And they are showing me things that I never thought were possible.
Wow.
So the minute I recognize that I'm not the boss, I'm the leader, and I need to be guided by other leaders, and things changed. So you can see physically in terms of acquisition. I think when we were last together, maybe we had about 270 or so units.
Yes.
Now we are over 450.
Wow.
And we're still growing.
Yes.
The objective is to get to 1,000 at some point.
Yes.
So it's just being humble.
Yes.
And learning from the others. They say that if you are the smartest person in the room, then there's a problem.
Absolutely.
So I've tried to surround myself with very smart people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's humbling.
Yeah,
Thank
okay.
you very much for having me here.
Final message to that viewer as you conclude. Just one final word of encouragement, because we are done now.
All I can say, believe in yourself. You are the only person who knows the greater potential you have inside. And continue believing that and making things possible for yourself and then share it with others. On that note, have a fantastic day.
Your contacts, if they want to work with the company,
Numbers
numbers and physical addresses, social media, go ahead.
Well, you must look at Belservest Cafe handle, and my telephone number, which is public, is 73001718.
Okay.
Call me anytime.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming. You've been a wonderful guest, sir. You've done a great job. Yeah.